All right, so I am at frumforum.com, and they posted a little hit piece here. Anti-war, GOP silent about bin Laden death. And whoever wrote this, Tim Mock? Is that a man or a woman? Well, anyways, I seriously cannot tell from the picture. Let me show you here at the top right. Tim, I can't, that's a woman, isn't it? You know what? I'm just going to shut up about that. Anyways, fail. Um, So basically, he was attempting to say that one can imagine that Ron Paul would likely disapprove the method in which bin Laden was brought to justice. Ron Paul actually supported, the modern day version, I guess you could say, of quote letters of marque and reprisal. And as far as I understand, that would be similar to essentially sending a group of bounty hunters, so to speak, to arrest, detain, capture someone like bin Laden or multiple terrorists. And of course, Ron Paul always thinks about what's best for America and our long-term interests, unlike the overly emotional Frum Forum. The neoconservative chest beaters, the interventionists. He's thinking about what's in our best long-term interest. So at that time, 9/11, he proposed that we use a letter of marque and reprisal to go after bin Laden, sort of as Obama would say, with a scalpel, as opposed. What does he say? What's opposite of a scalpel? A blunt instrument? I don't fail. Comparison fails. So, and then that way, we're not engaging in a war that would grow the state and reduce our freedoms at home, cost lives and treasure for a group, an individual or a group of individuals. So you would use this letter of marque reprisal to individually go after Osama bin Laden, as opposed to using the war state or declaring war on anything, or declaring war on a nation would be a better way of saying it. Okay, so now they're doing a lot of chest beating over the fact that they seem to think that this somehow, I guess, proves Representative Ron Paul wrong, when they could not be further from the truth. Number one, the wars that we've declared, I guess you could say we declared against Afghanistan and Iraq, had nothing to do with how we killed bin Laden. How did we kill him? With a small group on the ground, exactly what Ron Paul wanted to do, and what he suggested we should do. Now, Ron Paul's method would have cost maybe what, 100, 200, maybe at most 500 million. Okay, what have we lost by using their neoconservative bullshit? What have we lost in order to get someone like Osama bin Laden and those like him? A million deaths? Trillions? Or at least 1 trillion, I think it's trillions. In debt? Our freedoms lost? Inflation? Our country's on the ropes? That's what we've lost by following their way of doing this. And their way of doing it, in no way, the warfare state, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, had nothing to do with how he was captured. Killed, I'm sorry. He wasn't captured. So, from every analyzation I can think of, they have failed. And it's like, I guess they just think that since some result happened, they've got to be the winners, because Ron Paul wouldn't have done anything. Bullshit. And in fact, he supported us going into Afghanistan. So, it's just a mess right now. But with people not always understanding Ron Paul, and then they make judgments a lot of times that are just completely wrong about his record and what he stood for. Not only did he stand for going after Osama bin Laden, he stood for the exact thing that ended up getting him. And it should have been our focus all along. Small teams on the ground going after that son of a bitch and killing him. Or arresting him. Whatever. That's the way it was. That's how we got him, even though it took 10 years to do it. And I believe one of the reasons it took so long to do it is because we weren't really serious about, hey, maybe we should stop using the war method and instead use something smaller. So this to me was just a sad post, and it failed all the way around, because they're responsible for a lot of the situations we're in right now. So when you go pump your gas, just thank the warfarists and the welfarists when you can't afford food, because they're to blame for it. All of their policies are to blame for our high prices, and that's what we get.